Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Be the Media Huntington. Tonight is Tuesday, February 27th, and the weather has been simply delightful.
Absolutely.
It's so nice. I think Dana's hanging out in her car. Actually, we had a lot of technical difficulties tonight, so we apologize for coming to you so late. But it's been quite a day for all of us in many different ways. All right, so we're going to take a big collective inhale and exhale, and we're going to get right down into the nitty-gritty of it. Okay, so tonight, I guess the best way to start is have a quick little discussion on the Parkland shooting on February 24th and how it has impacted our local school districts and how we're living our everyday lives now. For instance, I had a very long dentist appointment today, and the security measures at the high school have been ramped up so much that I didn't have the forethought to extend my time now. I needed an extra 20 minutes just to get my daughter out of the high school today. And I did go to the Board of Ed meeting on Monday. I'm sure your Board of Ed meeting is coming up shortly as well. And they put forth a presentation of all the security measures that they are doing and that they have been doing. They went so far as to say, some of it that there's a plan, a safety plan that's put forth from the state, and all the school districts have to comply and put this into a database. And I believe the police gets it as well, but otherwise it's kept confidential. Otherwise, if they made their safety plans public, they would be playing their cards to the people who could potentially cause them danger.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, I saw that on the website not a website, on the post you made, somebody was talking about how we need to have metal detectors in the school. But what exactly is a metal detector going to do? We already know you have a gun. You're walking in with it. So the metal detector is just going to do its little ping, 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 and it seems like some of the parents were going just a little bit crazy. Not to say that this wasn't a major event, but you can't intensify it and make the kids scared, because then that's just a whole nother story. We just have to keep calm and collective heads and try to see what the best way is. I mean, I don't know if I agree with guns, teachers with guns, but I do want my child to be safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a catch-22 a little bit, because in one way, you want them to be safe, but in the second way, you don't want random teachers walking around with guns, in the classroom.
Right. I mean, I've been so quiet on this topic because I really don't know what to say. I mean, I believe in the Second Amendment. I hate guns. My brother was killed by the gun. When we were teenagers. He was 14, I was 17. My whole entire life was shattered, and my family at that time was shattered by a gun. Now, I believe in guns, and I believe in your right to have them. And like I said, I believe in the Second Amendment, but I hate the gun. But I also know in a lot of situations, it isn't the gun. It's the person. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. You go back to that cliche, and I do believe in that. I'm very torn about this issue as well. And I believe that police officers should be in the school, possibly even retired ones that have guns. I don't believe teachers should have guns. I think that's kind of silly, because you don't know if the teacher is a whack job.
I would like to see satellite offices in our schools for where
and that's security guard.
You're already paying for this in your taxes. I mean, you don't want to arm teachers. You're looking how to get around this cost-wise. The best immediate action you could do right now is to make every single school a satellite office for any police officer to stop, refresh, do paperwork, or whatever the case may be. It becomes a random drive-by for the police. Oh, that was a bad choice of words. It becomes a random stop for the different police officers, whoever happens to be in that area. And, it helps it really, I think, helps build more of, we have very strong communities. I've been noticing that lately. I mean, I noticed it before, but this event has solidified in me how very strong our communities are. Even though we are divided along a political point, our communities are still very, very strong. I was in your school district today, and one of the guys, my kids needed to stop and get pizza, and he had mentioned his last name was Thornburn, and I'm like, oh, are you Kevin's nephew, niece, cousin, or whatever? He goes, yeah, actually, I am, and I'm like, and yeah, and we were just out there. And we talked about what a great community we really do have. In spite of everything. And we worked very, very hard since 2010. You know, this was a shooting that happened in Florida last week, and they're dealing with that fallout. I think people forget that it was March 21st, 2010, and there was a shooting outside of Jack Abrams. There used to be, where the community garden is now, it used to be all woods, and they took that down because that was where the shooter had managed to hide. And since the closing of Jack Abrams and the recent reopening and turning into a STEM magnet school, we have really, really turned the school district around. So I hate to see that thrown in the garbage and everyone walks away that all of our schools are unsafe because something happened in Florida 1,500 miles away.
I agree with you on that. I mean, but as you saw yourself, people were just getting crazy. You know,
yeah.
The one lady, like, you know, this is too much. We have to bear arms in school. And then you can't think with an irrational head, because the ideas you come up with are not going to work.
Yep.
So it's like you have to, it was a horrific event, yes, but you have to be level-headed enough to come up with a solid plan. And that's what it seems like. A lot of the parents is just all over the place. You know, just come up with different ideas. Like the satellite, that's a great idea. I didn't even think of that.
Well, I just threw that one out there. That one, I actually have not heard other. I've heard a lot of talk about gun control. I've heard a lot of talk about mental health. I've heard a lot of talk about other things. I was listening to a radio show earlier this week, and one of the callers that called in was a Midwestern police officer. And he had said, you know, this is something we could do immediately that's already paid for by the taxpayers. And I thought it was a great idea, and it bared repeating. I'm sorry, I don't remember who he is to give him credit, but I'm sure he's not watching. So from where he is in the Midwest, so he won't be offended. But I will tell you, one of the things we're hearing from a lot more of the kids, and last night was the Board of Ed meeting at 7:30, but I had heard on Facebook on Parents of Huntington that there was a meeting that was being run by Spice Long Island, which we used as our cover photo tonight to bring them a little bit of, you know, so we like to sometimes put places in Huntington or restaurants as the photo that we choose to use for our weekly episode. I decided to use their logo tonight so that they would know that we were giving them a little love tonight, because I have to tell you, I wish I would have stayed for the rest of the program. I had to leave earlier. It's a town hall run by kids. And right now, from what I understand, Daryl St. George put this together and has been kind of leading it. He did step in at one point. I think with him leading it, the group has a great premise. So I don't want to throw away the baby with the bathwater, if you know what I mean. The kids are running a town hall forum, and they are not just one-sided. They are having discussions about specific topics in a healthy environment. And so the group is SPICE, which means Students Promoting Inclusive Civic Engagement.
Wow.
So they're starting them young to get them to come and talk about, and I have to tell you, I wish I could show you, I forgot to put it on our Facebook page so I could show. The Huntington Library was packed. And these kids were really well spoken. What I did appreciate about what Daryl St. George did, first of all, it was very packed. There was a lot of kids. There was adults in the back. He got up, made it clear it was being run for the kids, but he did step in a few times. So there still does need to be a little bit of guidance. And one of the first one who wanted to speak was an adult, and he shut the adult down right away. And I really did appreciate that, because I came there with the intention of hearing from the kids once I understood what the forum was. I do plan on going back. I'm going to bring my daughter, and I'm going to give you guys hopefully a full recap of being there for an honest, full event instead of just the half an hour I was able to sit in on.
When you say kids, Jenny, are you talking about high school kids, college kids, both?
I saw some Findlay kids. I saw some high school kids. I saw what appeared to be some college kids. But yeah, kids that, younger, I would say they ran anywhere from 12 to 20.
Wow, okay.
And there were even kids wearing, Trump Pence sweatshirts that were well-versed in gun laws. There were other kids on the other side of the room who were clearly all against guns. There was a very unique balance there, coming from a very unique perspective, and I appreciated it. And yeah, it's something I would like to get my children involved in, and something I wanted to let people knew was out there. This was their fourth meeting. It was supposed to be, the subject matter was supposed to be on discrimination, but they decided to change it due to the events that had happened. They felt that they wanted to switch gears and let everyone air how they were feeling about what had happened, because that's their age group.
Wow.
How often do they meet?
Once a month. Do you want, I could, here, give me 1 sec, and I'll show you the Facebook page. Is that fair?
Yes.
Fair.
Okay, so I'll give you something at least, right?
Yes.
Let me see. We don't want to leave you empty-handed, ever. Okay. So this is their Facebook page. We did borrow their thing to, kind of give them a little bit. They don't have a lot of people on their page yet, but I really appreciated what they were doing.
Wow.
What they were doing there with the kids. Here's a little sample.
The platform as to what the youth of the community want to see change in the town or on Long Island in general. And also that once they're solidified, we'll have a position in the town where we can be able to, where we will be able to protest certain things or go to politicians and say this is what we want to see, or anything that we feel needs to be done locally or.
So that's that.
Very interesting. And what night do they meet? Did you show that? I didn't see it. I missed it.
I don't know what nights they meet. I just liked the Facebook page recently.
Okay.
That was my first, and I couldn't stay long because I had to go over to the Board of Ed meeting because there had been so much outrage on social media about what they wanted to change at the school level and what they did want the teachers to do, what they didn't want their teachers to do, who wanted metal detectors like Dana was saying, and who wanted armed cops and, lockdown, and everybody was all up in arms. But when public comment, so our school board put on a big presentation of our safety thing that we have going on, talked about this new pilot program that we're part of. It's a camera that's on top of the fire extinguishers. So when somebody pulls a fire alarm, it immediately sets off a camera and starts filming them. So we're a pilot program. We're not paying. So they were talking about all those things. And then it came to public comment, Terry, and not one person got up and spoke. Not one person. Not about walking out, not about anything.
Were they supposed to?
Well, I would think that if
it was that the point of the meeting.
if you're that loud on social media and you got all this stuff to talk and get everyone riled up, that when you're told that the Board of Ed is having a meeting and that's where you should honestly go on the record and talk to the people who vote for those measures, and nobody shows up to talk, it's just so atypical.
Should have given them a keyboard, then they could have flexed their muscles.
Right.
Then they would have had a lot to say.
I find it very difficult, and I'm sorry, guys, that are, you guys that are watching it. I know I am all over the place tonight, but I am in my car, but I had to make the show, so you see me wobbling and doing all that crazy stuff as I'm driving. Well, right now I'm parked, but
Watch the potholes.
I'm not. Thank God I'm not in Suffolk County. Not that Nassau's that much better, but that's another story. I just find it, a lot of people have so much to say online, and when it comes to, even they have a lot of things to say when they're in private groups, but when it comes to speaking out against anything, for anything, going against the grain, everyone is silent.
Yep.
I know for a fact I've made certain comments on Huntington Matters, and I always refer to Huntington Matters because out of all the groups that I belong to, that to me is the raunchiest one. The people are so nasty. I mean, you could ask about a leaf in the street and they will talk crazy to you, and I know for a fact that there's one particular male that is on Huntington Matters, and he always has something quick to say, always very snippy, and he always has a comeback. But when you see him walking around in the store and you say, "Aren't you so-and-so?" Very quiet. Almost like, what is that animal that freezes and they play dead so nobody bothers it? Like,
He's a possum.
Possum.
Oh, okay.
You freaking possum. You should have pulled his tail.
Oh, no.
So I'm like,
Should have pulled his tail.
I call those people Facebook gangsters. That's what I call them, because they're gangsters on Facebook.
Yeah, keyboard cowboys.
Yeah, right. That's another, so they're good for that. But anything else, no. So, I mean, for me, I don't usually join anything when it comes to my children, because everybody, when it comes to their safety, because everybody's different. But for this particular incident, let's be honest, anybody could walk into a school at one point and do something like that. Yeah. So if we don't address the issue, who are we really hurting? Are we hurting ourselves? Are we hurting our children? Are we hurting, and it's our job as parents to be on top of that.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, you could get shot at a concert. Dana, there was some post on Dick's Moms of Dix Hills or Northport or something. In fact, the superintendent of the school put out a statement to it today. Somebody sent in a picture of the side of their car with bullet holes in it. Well, and the superintendent of the school, they took a police report. I don't know what happened, but apparently it was considered to be legit. But we're talking about protecting schools. I get it. We love our children. We all want our children to be safe when they're in school. But the fact of the matter is our world has changed. Our world is not a safe place. How many people woke up and went to work on 9/11?
I was working on 9/11.
All they did was go to work.
And everybody always wants to talk about mental health. We have to really take a look at that, because I can't see how somebody with mental health issues could have such an arsenal of weapons, and nobody checked on it. Like, nobody realized.
Well, this kid, look how many people knew. Look how many people.
And that's every gun incident, we learn something new, and they're never consistent. That's the one thing we do absolutely know. Like Las Vegas, explain that. There's still no answers on that.
Right.
The guy was, I would think, mentally ill if he did do that, and it wasn't something else like a gun running operation. Who knows what it was? Nobody's been given any answers. But I would say that guy's mentally ill. But if he was never diagnosed by an actual mental health professional and never reported to the mental health list, or never convicted of a crime that wasn't put in the national data, your background checks are only as good as the information that is being put into them. So that's part of the problem. And I got to tell you, most people like myself who are very pro-Constitution, and I mean all of them. I'm not selective with any of them. So we do say, yes, background checks. I don't think people realize how broken the background checks are.
He passed for a background check.
So we're already saying, okay, let's make a national mental health database. That's great. You can make all the databases, ban all the guns, do everything you want. The bottom line is it's only going to be as good as the information that you enter into it.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, we talked about metal detectors earlier. Do you know that they can now print an AR-15 3D printer or a bump stock in plastic? Okay. It's not detectable through a metal detector. So now I sneak in that. All I have to do is get and hide it and get the ammo, and the criminals will find a way. And that's why we have to really focus on the safety aspect. It's just something that everyone can get behind, school safety.
Jenny, just explain that again, because I don't think I'm fully understanding about the AR, all that.
Oh, you know what? If you give me a second, I'll find you. You want to see how it's printed?
Yeah,
you can print a gun.
Yeah, because I'm not really that savvy with things, like that. But I think, a lot of people probably will have questions and just don't know how to ask or are afraid to ask those kind of questions. But I want to know, what does that mean? Like, how can you print a gun?
Yeah, no, you could totally print a gun.
Yeah. You know what I want to know also, what my curiosity gets the best of me when I think of
let me know when you're ready.
How do you just walk into a school? Some schools you cannot walk into, and some schools you can. So why can you just walk into some and not the others?
I personally live in an area where they put up those DNA signs. Take down those gun-free zone and put up, we are heavily armed. It doesn't matter if we are or aren't. It doesn't matter if we are or aren't. It's a sign is still a detriment. Right. You know? Yep. You figure out if we are or aren't. But take down those signs. They're ridiculous.
I don't know. I just feel like it's a little bit crazy, if you ask me. I don't, this whole thing is just a little bit weird.
So Dana, you asked, are you ready to be mind blown?
Yes, I am.
I'm going to blow your mind right now.
Okay.
I'm on YouTube. I typed into my search module 3D printer AR-15, and clearly you can see there are many, which I could spend 20 minutes, 15 minutes. I'm sure we don't need to. You can go back and look these up. He's test firing his AR-15 that he made in a 3D printer. An AR-15 in every home. I think people just don't get, you can ban everything you want.
Yeah.
And technology.
What good is that going to do?
Technology is still 50 spots, 50, steps ahead of you. Here, let's check this out. I want to see them print it. We won't do the whole video. Oh, wait, actually, I might get in trouble. There's so many people these days.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to get in trouble. Did you guys read Parents of Huntington tonight before we came on?
No, yes. I read that post. I did not read all those comments, but you kind of filled me in, and that's a little ridiculous.
Let me hook us up here. Dana, you haven't read it?
No, I've been on the go literally all day.
Oh, dear. Okay, that's good. We're going to get your live reaction then on this one. Where am I? Taking you to Facebook. Okay. Parents of Huntington, rest a little easier. I just had detectives at my house investigating my 15-year-old daughter because she posed with her brother's pellet gun on her Snapchat story. I'm not sure why or when my daughter posted the picture. She said it was around a month ago, but they were here today and searched her room and took a statement. The gun is not at our house. It's at her dad's, but I agreed to bring it to the 2nd precinct later on today so that they could examine it. They can have it and the remains of her phone, which I'm going to run over with my car because obviously talking to teenagers like they're normal human beings just isn't working. So there's a lot of cheering. I mean, this is actually a really active thread. A lot of people are cheering her for her parenting. I give her a lot of credit for her parenting. I just I wonder when we became a society that we're now going to rat each other out for BB guns, that we're that, reactive.
I think for me personally, I have mixed feelings about the whole situation, honestly. In a way, I'm kind of like, well, I'm happy that they are in doing this, but it's just difficult. I don't want to say is it necessary, because obviously it is, but I mean, if it was, it's just a rock in a hard place, because.
Well, let's break this down, because I need to ask you a couple of things. We got to break it down. Okay. Okay. I just had detectives at my house investigating my 15-year-old daughter because she posed with her brother. The pellet gun. I'm not sure why. Blah, 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 blah. Oh no, maybe she took it. I want to know how this information came to be, because it's a Snapchat.
So okay, so in Snapchat.
And it was mentioned in here that it came from the school somehow. So are you okay with the school having access to your children's social media and going through it and being reactive to a BB gun, not a gun? And when you do turn this into the police, because you have detectives, see, obviously this came from somewhere. The police know how to tell the difference between a BB gun and a regular gun.
Mm-hmm.
At what point are you okay with just letting your, see, I got to tell you, if my kids were bringing guns into the house and doing threatening, I would call the police on them myself. But I get a little concerned when other people start using ammunition against you. What was the intent behind it? And if it's coming from the school, I'm not okay with handing over that much of my freedom.
Well, okay. Now, when it comes to Snapchat, the school doesn't willy-nilly have access to the child's Snapchat. The child either has to accept the person, or the friend or one of their friends may have copied a picture on Snapchat, and then maybe their mother has seen it or father seen it and then gave it to the school, because the school can't just go in there and be and say, okay, well, I want to look up Dana Beard's Snapchat, and you get in there.
But you get a notification on Snapchat whenever somebody does a screenshot of your snap. Right, that's happened.
Right. Okay. So let's use this as a scenario. I pose with a BB gun. You say, look at this fool posing with a BB gun. We're laughing, joking, and you just take a quick Snapchat of it, right?
Right.
And now it's in your phone and your pictures, because when you take a picture, a Snapchat, it saves in your camera roll. Now your mom, for whatever reason, might be going through your phone and say, why does your friend have a gun? And then, in light of what happened recently with the shooting, then goes to the school and say, this is what I found to my daughter's phone. I think you should be aware of it. That could be something that might have happened.
And don't you think it's really reactive, though, as a society now?
Well, here's the thing. It seems to be overreactive, right? Hear me out.
And I get the safety thing, like 2 pounds, whatever is worth a penny wise, foolish. I get it. I really do. But we're now going to be tattling on each other for these kinds of things and letting people into your home.
I mean, for me, I think, had the picture been discovered prior to the Parkland shooting, I doubt it would have gone to the school or to the police. But because of the shooting, I think a lot of parents are now, you saw how they attacked.
She wrote here, the picture was from a month ago.
Exactly. Wow. So why would you even bring it
Somebody went through and cherry picked that. And Snapchat, it wouldn't be there from a month ago unless somebody captured it to be used against her at a later time.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Now, in Snapchat, my daughter sends me Snapchats, and I save them. So I have a whole bunch of her pictures. I don't have actual video, but I have a whole bunch of her pictures from Snapchat. So I could easily send that to somebody and say she's posing with a gun, and I may have had that picture from 2 months ago. But your point is valid. Like, are we going to go now? I would rather say, so-and-so, I saw your kid with this. Do you know what's going on? Is this gun? And then based off that,
a phone call from the school to have detectives sent to your house And then they search your daughter's bedroom. You let them in. Like,
Yep.
have we forgot? I mean, we were talking about the Second Amendment. How about the Fourth?
Well, a lot of people, let's face it, Jenny, we got to be honest. A lot of people are not going to say no. The police come knocking at the door. They're going to say, okay, sure, it's the police. I have nothing to hide. But a lot of people are not going to just say no. They'll say, sure, go ahead and search it. Me, no, you're not searching my child's room because I don't understand. Now I need a series of questions, not just because you have a picture. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying because I know my child, so I know what X, Y, and Z. So no, you're not going to just come in his room and search his. No, that does not work.
And a lot of people would argue on the other side of that. Well, how many parents say, "Oh, not my kid. Oh, not my kid."
Yeah, sure.
Because there are people who will not call the police on their own children when it reaches a certain boiling point.
Right.
I mean, you have a valid point, but I'm sure I'm just speaking for myself. The district, the teachers in my district, and the administration knows I go through my kids' phone. I go through their emails. I go through all their personal stuff because until you pay bills on your own, it's mine. And everything that you have, I purchase. So guess what? I have every right. And when I tell you I go through everything, I go through everything.
Everything.
You're not going to be in my garage making some damn bomb and blowing us up. Absolutely.
And it's random. There's no rhyme, no reason to when I will ask for your phone and go through everything.
2 o'clock in the morning.
I'll tell you what, though, stuff like this with what happened to her, it makes me want to make my children delete every one of their apps they have. We talk about putting age restrictions on the guns. What about putting age restrictions on the phones?
Social media is a gift and a curse.
Yep.
Social media is a gift because you can get the information instantly. It keeps you abreast. You don't have to be locked on to the TV, but it's a curse because it could be used so many detrimental ways.
100%.
And it's like I've seen a young lady, she took a picture in her bikini top, and a little boy got it. He circled it around the school, and she was sending him half nudes. She sent you a picture in a bikini top. She didn't say, come look at my breasts. She didn't say, come get your feel on. She was just in a bikini top. But because you chose to take that picture she sent you, and then you recycled it to everybody.
Oh my God.
That's the curse,
And I think what a lot of kids don't realize too, there's new laws now in regards to sending if God, I can't even say it because my daughter would never do it, but if my daughter chose to expose herself and take nudie photos of herself and send it to a boy, they could both be charged. She's looking at me like, look, come here. She would never do this. She's like, good. You could say, no, she would never. She would never. So anyways, she wouldn't, but let's pretend she did. Both parties could be brought up on child pornography.
Exactly.
And everyone that photo is sent to now, including...
And that could lead to suicide.
And you're right, because of internet bullying.
It's been happening to dozens of teens every year since Amanda Todd. Actually, a little earlier than that, but probably she's the most famous one. But
okay, so one night we'll have to have you guys on too.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to hear like their perspective of the whole.
For real, because I mean, this is about them.
The two younger kids won't understand it, but I know most of it outside. I've always done a lot of research regarding it, so
the internet is a cursing and a blessing. A cursing and a blessing.
I always post artsy pictures, like photography related stuff on the internet.
I know you're awesome, but not everybody is you.
I know.
So if that does happen, I think a lot of kids aren't realizing that both parties could be subject to child pornography charges, including the young lady or young man who decides to send their junk across the internet.
Now, is this new?
It's I know it's within the last decade.
Okay.
With sexting.
It's fairly new. It's fairly new.
You remember they're still minors.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
it's still child pornography to a certain degree.
Disgusting. That's what it is.
And they're just innocent kids. So learning really, really hard lessons.
And the hard lessons they're learning now is we go back to what we were started to talk about is the banning everything. What do you ban guns, and you got to ban video games, and then you have to ban the drugs, and what else do you have to ban?
Well, drugs are
What's going to fix it?
drugs
Like
are
I said, I just shut down when people start talking about this a little bit. I just get like taken back in myself because I don't know what to say. I don't have the answer.
how many
I
people
don't have the solution. And
today?
some march that I walk in, or if I walk out of school, it's not going to change a damn thing.
How many people did heroin kill today just in our zip code?
Lord.
God knows.
I don't
Many,
even
I'm sure.
know that number.
You know, when you think about that, I mean, our area code, not zip code, I don't want to narrow it down that far, but when you think about that, and drugs are illegal. So,
So it's drinking and driving. So
you know, and this whole, like, I said about maybe we should put an age thing on these things. 300,000 accidents a year from texting while driving by new drivers on the road.
but
Those
that's
are
illegal. You can't text and drive.
and that's illegal.
That's
So,
illegal.
If they don't care.
no, I'm not saying we shouldn't have laws. I'm just saying that
Well, when the laws don't work, what do? You ban it. You ban it from who? It just makes no sense. Sorry.
I agree with Lisa on I shut down because I find that you can't talk openly. People start attacking you.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't want to get into a heated discussion because of my opinion doesn't coincide with yours.
Oh, and everything comes down to if you're Democrat or Republican. It's just pathetic. And everybody's an expert. Everyone has an answer. And every time someone comments, one comment after the next is just more pathetic. You know, it's either repeated or it's nasty. How many times can you say the same thing over and over and over and over again?
Right. No, I agree with you 100%. Because some of them, they just get outrageous with their stuff. And you're just like, I'm just not going to say anything.
Exactly.
Because I can't continuously go back and forth with you if you're not even willing to listen.
I can't even go forth with you, let alone back. Ugh.
Yeah. I don't. Did we lose Jenny?
yeah.
Oh, there you are. I was just telling you.
My power just surged.
Oh.
Whoa.
I can't even believe. Is the show still going? Oh my God.
It says we're live.
So.
I hope that wasn't like a drunk driver hit a pole, just to mention that's also illegal.
Yes, that's against the law.
Sorry. All right.
I'm not trying to be sarcastic or rude in any way, but I don't know what to say. I really don't.
You know, society has changed. Society has changed over time, and this is our new reality. And we have to come up with new ways to combat it. You know, we've gotten really far away from family values. There's a lot of fatherless homes. There's a lot of broken homes, a lot of single mother homes. And there's a lot less human contact on top of all of that dysfunction. There's a lot less human contact in favor of being on social media. And we're just losing a lot of value of what it means to be in contact with each other.
I'm not trying to, I mean, I know this is a little bit random, but kids today, most kids that I have had interactions with and know, maybe even I work with, they can't write script. They can't count change back.
Yeah.
I mean, where else?
They have a term for it. It's called I can't adult.
Or it's blame technology. If you have a problem with it, Lisa, blame technology. What?
They say I can't adult today. It's a funny thing. I've said it.
I know.
But it's true. There's that many people who lack basic skills like fear of lighting a match.
They can't pick up a phone. They can't talk to people anymore.
Right. No,
I don't want to answer the phone. I don't want to answer the phone. I don't want to talk. No, you do it.
Why didn't you text me? Why would you call me?
You have to text to ask if you could call.
Right. You have to text. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I can't talk to you today. Maybe tomorrow.
But text me. Text me. I mean, text me. Wait.
But I'm going to go like my friend's 50 photos on Facebook.
Now, what do you feel about, because I know how I feel. I know how everybody else feels about it. But how do you feel about kids walking out of school and missing school? Either college that maybe you didn't even pay for and you're walking out, or high school where you really need to be in school. So
well, there's the 17-minute walkout, then there's a full day walkout. The one that really concerns me more than anything, well, number one, the one in school, I don't care if it's for 10 minutes, 17 minutes, you don't subject all the other students to that and identify them. It's not part of the curriculum. You have no business walking out of school. If you want to stage a protest, take the day off.
what if Johnny doesn't agree with you? What if Johnny wants to sit in class and learn,
and now
Sally doesn't agree with you either, and Sally doesn't want to go outside?
Now you tease Johnny.
And
but then
what's going to happen?
The April 20th walkout, there's no end date. Like at least I got to tell you, the one to walk out for 17 minutes, then a full day. The one that starts on April 20th is you walk out on April 20th until Congress passes gun laws. It's not specific as to what gun laws, but let's pretend nothing happens. Now I'm basically, I'm going to hold my breath till you do what I want. You're missing school days and you may have to repeat the school year, and the school could also lose funding because you wanted to do what? This is a political issue.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. What if the seniors are doing it? They're not going to graduate.
But it's also encouraging other people to feel, because all of a sudden, like if everybody stood up and walked out of a room, you'd feel very uncomfortable, whether you knew why they were walking out of the room or not. You would feel so inclined to have to walk out of the room. You wouldn't know why.
To follow the crowd.
Yeah. Because maybe they know something I don't. I should leave. Everybody else is.
Right. Or do you possibly think that if this 420 march really does go through, or a ban, or
and by the way, 420 really
ban?
That's National Weed Day.
Yes, that's what I heard. But what I was going to say is, so when these kids ban school on 420, April 20th, at the end of the school year, are all the seniors going to get a badge of a diploma because they're so proud of them?
Not if they miss a certain amount of days. State standards won't allow them to receive that diploma.
That's what you think. That's what it says.
No, it doesn't matter. It's the state standard. Those are the unforeseen consequences that they don't realize. It's quite wonderful to do things when we feel good in the moment under emotional circumstances. But logic takes over and says, if you miss X amount of days of school, you have to repeat the curriculum.
Yeah.
That's just how it works.
And if you don't go back, then you can't go to college. If you don't graduate, I don't know why. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what they think is going to happen. I really don't.
They're not thinking. That's the problem.
You think Congress is going to say, okay, kids. All right, kids, go back to class. We'll do whatever you want. Like, really? That they really think that's going to happen?
I think, but you know what? When I spoke with my son, who is 13, and he was talking about the walkout, and he was like, okay, one day, okay, maybe I would participate. But the second day, and definitely not the third day, because I have to get my education. Those was his words. Those weren't my words.
Yep.
I don't think it's wise to teach kids to do things that are detrimental to their future. Not saying that they shouldn't stand up for their what they believe in, because we teach freedom of speech.
But that's why they have forums now, like the Spice Forum.
Right,
that's a great thing. That's a great outlet. That's where you do things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So if we could do that, then we would be all right. But I don't agree with all this. Let's walk out. No, I don't think that's a productive way of teaching children.
I'm right there with you.
I mean, I don't want any. To be honest with you, I don't want any Democrats to be inboxing me or or bashing me on social media that, I'm insensitive or, I don't care. That is absolutely not the case. I don't want to see another whack job, another mental case, get a gun and kill anyone.
None of us want to see that. Not, I think that's what people don't realize when they're talking about this as a debate item. None of us want to see children.
No. And I don't like guns anyway.
And none of us want to see adults dead at concerts, like what happened in Vegas, or the Christmas party that happened in San Bernardino. And, a lot of these, when you look into them further, was really a breakdown of the system within. The Pulse nightclub. The FBI knew about Pulse. It knew about San Bernardino. In fact, there were multiple 39 calls on this new one in Fort Lauderdale. And now we're finding out 4 cops stood down and could have prevented all the murders on the 3rd floor. So, I mean, it's such a multifaceted idea. And then we decide to go online and get on each other's throats about banning guns or not banning guns. I mean, do you realize the total breakdown?
If you don't agree with that, you're insensitive. You're an idiot. You're a blank, 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 blank. You must be a Trump lover. You must be a Nazi. That's why.
But what is Trump? And that's what irritates me. And I guess that's why I choose not to engage, because I can't see what does being a Trump lover have to do with we talking about kid safety.
Nothing, but you hear it. That's what gets written all the time.
1985 was when Columbine happened, right? When was Sandy Hook? I mean, that was under Obama. We've had other incidences. Yeah, they've increased. Absolutely. Are we gonna blame Obama for Sandy Hook? Come on. Or all the Obama lovers? Come on.
I think people take that whole "you voted for Trump" thing way
too
far, and they bring it into situations that have nothing to do with what we're talking about at hand.
Nothing at all. They just want to hear themselves talk.
And because people voted for Trump, what really makes me annoyed, and you guys know I'm no Trump lover, but that doesn't mean that the people who voted for Trump agree with every single thing he does.
Nope.
Not at all. Not at all.
It means the exact, some of them they might get okay, or maybe this, but not everything. And
I don't agree with him raising. I'm a huge, huge. And I don't agree with him raising the age limit on the assault weapons. I believe it's such a slippery slope, and I hope you can appreciate what I'm saying, because for me it has nothing to do with guns. It has to do with the extension of adulthood. We consider young adults at 18 years of age. We allow them to vote. We allow them some states they can drink, other states they can't. That's not a federal law.
Allow them to go to the front lines in war.
We allow them to enlist in the military. So if you're going to all of a sudden, and you're 18 to smoke, they've raised it to 21, but because they've decided you're killing yourself, medical costs, etc., whatever. Find an age, but don't mess with delaying anyone's opportunity to begin being an adult. So it really, for me, has nothing to do with guns, and it has everything to do with teaching children that you're still a child until you're 21, that you're still under somebody's rule. So it needs to have some sort of equality and cohesiveness when it comes to the age limits on what you can do that you're considered an adult. If it's going to be 21, so be it. I don't agree with pushing it back. But 18 and, restrictions on chemicals, even though they all get them at 15,
there's so much of it. I agree. I agree with so much of it.
Message. Ask these kids, like, if we put an age restriction on your phone, how would you feel? And I guarantee many of them would be really concerned with that and say that it's not fair. Then they take that and apply that.
And let me tell you something. You try to take those kids' phones away, and we would probably have World War III on our hands.
Yes.
Those kids would be in the street.
Because we've been handing them phones since they're 6, 7 years old, which is beyond ridiculous.
We'd have to sleep with locks on our doors.
Yeah. But think about the level of entitlement that we're breeding in these children.
Oh, but our children are definitely entitled. I mean, I think as parents, we do it. And I'm definitely, I include myself. My children definitely feel entitled to a lot of things. And I'm like, no. But when I go back and I think, and the things that I've exposed them to, the things that they are getting without working for it,
Used
whose
to.
fault is it?
Yeah.
So we can't blame them. You know what I mean? You get a,
You and
work
me.
for everything.
Yeah.
It worked. And my parents did not play that. It was not like, oh yeah, let's let it no. Did you do this? No. Well, then you're not getting
Then
it.
the answer is no. You didn't have a phone. You had a house phone. You had a house phone. And everybody listened.
That's right.
Call past 8
Everybody.
o'clock. You couldn't call past 8 o'clock. And for me, in our household, my mom, you couldn't have boys call your house at all, even in high school.
Oh, hell no. You weren't allowed to wear lipstick till you were 15 in my house.
Nope. Yeah, at least I went to Catholic school, so we weren't having lipstick. We had to wear those dresses. It was just a mess. It really was. But we didn't turn out so bad, so I guess it's not that bad.
Well, yeah.
But the one thing I was going to say, Jenny, is, so many things, like, remember I said, I support the Second Amendment. I believe in it. And then there's so much of it I don't like just because I don't like guns. So it is a slippery slope for me. But I don't want to infringe on people's rights either. But I don't want the wackos getting the guns, which is just huge. But I'll be the first to admit that, God forbid, I'm in a store and the store's getting robbed and someone's trying to rob me or hurt me. I would hope that man or woman or grandma or grandpa that's standing behind me is packing and sane and not some whack job and is going to protect me.
Yeah,
well, at the end of the day. And that's how I feel about it. So
you have to pass a lot of rigorous tests to be able to have a gun, especially in this state. I say if somebody is willing and they want to be, allow them to go through that process. A lot of people would be eliminated through the process. I know that there was one man who was killed in the most recent incident who covered his students with his body, and he was a football coach, and I'm sure that he would have been somebody who would have shot back to protect them at all costs.
Of course.
Yep.
So I mean, it's a double-edged sword, no matter how you take it.
Like you call it, it's a slippery slope. I mean, it
is, especially with the age thing. I think people don't consider it when you put it in terms of the cell phone. It's something everyone can understand.
But
because
you talk about background checks. That kid passed a background check.
Well, again, we talked about what the background checks entail earlier. And there, first of all, he was never medically diagnosed. So you start there, but the information's only good as the input. And without anybody responding 39 times in a row for whatever reasons.
That's
and
crazy.
then 4 stand down. So, all right. So we've just got a little bit left. And before we do, I just want to give us an update. We do have the St. Patrick's Day Parade is coming up on March 11th. We are the second largest St. Patrick's Day Parade in the entire state of New York.
Wow.
It's down in Huntington. I'm very proud of this event. My husband is a Hibernian. A lot of people think that the town plans the St. Patrick's Day Parade. It's simply untrue. It's put on by the Huntington Hibernians, and they had a food drive this weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and put a clip of this on for us tonight so that they can tell you in their own words what they do, because I think that the services that they provide in the town of Huntington are very vital, and they touch everyone within the district. So, here we go again. I'm so much better at this than I was in season 1.
It shows. It shows.
This is Jenny Lee with Be the Media Huntington, live with the Huntington View. We're down here today at the Stop and Shop on Wall Street in Huntington Village. And we're here with the Huntington Hibernians. Today I have with me Johnny Broderick, and they're collecting food to help fill the food banks. And I think a lot of people don't really know what it is you guys do during the rest of the year besides throwing the parade. So if you could let us know a little bit about the organization.
Sure, I'd love to. Yep. So what we do here today is the food drive. We hand out pamphlets. People shop, and when they come out, they drop off some food, and that supports the local food drives here. So all the food stays here in the Huntington Township. So we are the Huntington Hibernians, but we're here to support the overall township and the community, around us.
And what churches do you fill the food in?
So right now we are supporting the St. Patrick's Church here with the local food drive that we're doing. I actually just talked to one of my brothers, Brother Johnny McKenna, and he's going to be doing an effort in Northport, and we hope to grow and expand. Right now we're in the St. Patrick's Church filling the joint camp food pantry. So we'll do out the food drive today. We also, one of our big programs is the turkey drive. And we feed about 40 to 50 individual families. That's when we, again, hit St. Patrick's. We go to St. Philip's Erie, St. Francis in Greenlawn, as well as St. Hugh's in Huntington, et cetera. So I think we picked up another church in Northport recently. So that's one of the times a year where we donate over about 160 turkeys this year. So we're hitting a lot of parishes, putting a lot of foods on the table. So this is one of our biggest programs. Just the food drives, we're talking about other charities we do. Just recently, we're getting into helping those with special needs. We just ran our first ever comedy night.
Yes, I was there. It was a great event.
All right.
Great event.
A lot of people raised a lot of money. We actually were able to donate a $500 scholarship to an individual from Huntington High School, South Huntington High School, Hartfield High School, and the East Northport High School.
So you have 4 schools total within the Huntington Township. We have 8 school districts. So one of the goals next year is to get the other 4 on board.
Exactly.
So if anybody's listening from any of the other SEPTAs that weren't listening, this is the guy you want to contact.
We're rolling it out. Why those 4? Myself and my wife have special needs in the Hartfield, the Virtues, Huntington, and then we had some other brothers. So right in our own little niche of our brothers with the AOH, we knew we had to work with the mission schools. I think we nailed it, and we had a lot of fun. We raised a lot of good money, and we're going to, again, we're here for the township, so we're going to expand it out to the other schools.
So now you guys are really heavy on the men, and we're an all-women show here on the Huntington View. Is there also a ladies' organization?
Exactly. It's the AOH, the LAOH, the Ladies Ancient Order Hibernians. We were very successful with our comedy drive on the night that we did. It was due to them. They helped us out with a lot of gift baskets. They were there to support us. So we call them our sisters. They're our sister organization, and they do a lot of great work, and we do a lot of combined work together.
And so what do I need to do in order to join one of these organizations, either the Ancient Order of Hibernians or the Ladies Ancient Order of Hibernians?
Sure. Each one has rules or guidelines to admit it. For the men's AOH, you have to be 1% Irish and be Catholic. We're a Catholic organization, so 1% Irish, Catholic. Fill out a form to come on down and join. It's that simple, and the same goes with the LAOH.
So where do you hold your meetings so that people can come down and join?
Sure. We're the second Wednesday of every month.
Okay.
We are at the American Legion Post 360.
Okay.
It's in Huntington. It says Huntington, or the GPS.
Right in the double circle, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's in house, like down by the water.
Gotcha.
Yep. We just had a gentleman come out, give out some food. He goes, I was with Division 9. I want to transfer. Come on down. So we're always welcome, brothers, to join us and help us with the good deeds and efforts we do around.
Wonderful. Okay, so your parade is in about 2-3 weeks.
Yes.
I know a lot of people think that that's a parade that's put on by the town, but that's all you guys. You
That's
guys
correct.
do all this, and with the proceeds that you raise from the journal ads, you also help again to fill the food banks.
Correct.
Correct.
So we pulled the guys out. We said, listen, we know we're at the busy time of season. Our parade is about 2 weeks away. So we said we got to get down here. We got a call. We heard that the food pantries were there. So that's what we're here today, helping out. A lot of people are great. The other thing we're doing, we're going to be doing at the churches too, is not just coming to Stop and Shop. We also buy bags and put them in the back of the churches. People take them home, and then the next time they come back to church, they fill it and bring it back. So that's the other piece we're going to do. But we took the time out today, but we're going to be right back at it. Parade's 2 weeks away. We pay for the bands. We had to pay for signage and a lot of the permits and things like that. So any donations people make, always greatly appreciated. We have a goal and we have the journals. A lot of people hear about our journal ads. So take out a journal ad. That money goes for us to put on the parade for a great day. And then the money also helps us throughout the year.
So your ball is the Friday before the Sunday parade, and that's the induction of your Grand Marshal.
Right.
So who's this year's Grand Marshal?
The drum roll, Andrew X. Brady.
Wonderful.
Yeah, Andrew is
He's a great representation.
Yep, Brady Agency right here in Huntington. Great guy, and we're gonna love having him march us down.
It's going to be a great day. Hopefully the weather holds up like it has this week.
We'd love to have that.
It'd be great. Okay, so everybody come on down. Grab some of those canned goods that you know you're cleaning up in your house today. Bring them down to Stop and Shop, formerly King Cullen, down here on Wall Street, and help fill the local food banks. I know the schools do a lot right before Thanksgiving, but then later on during the year, they tend to get a little low on supplies, pet food, all sorts of non-perishable items. All are welcome. So we hope everyone enjoyed today's Huntington View. Have a great day, and thank you, John.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
You too.
Shut it.
Good job. That was good.
Thanks. That was one of my first live on the scene interviews. You did the spot. You did Rashi. Good Eats.
Can I make a shout out?
Of course, this is shout out hour.
My next door neighbor is watching.
Hi, neighbor.
Wait, watching the show or watching you?
Both. Please let your dog in. Cold, and it's been hours. And it's disgusting. That poor dog.
Oh my God.
Carry on.
Oh, fun. Oh, so does anybody have any last minute thoughts on anything?
I don't have any this week.
I don't either.
Not this week.
We're all like, I think all of us are like, can we just end this day, please? Yeah. We all had a long day.
I just need a good sleep so I could just start over and recap. I can make a shout out to Dick's Hills Animal Hospital. They took care of my mom's cat. They take care of all my animals, but they took care of my mom's cat today. She had surgery. She had to have all of her teeth removed. They were all rotten and causing all kinds of havoc in her little body. I don't know. We don't even know how the hell this happened, but they were horrible.
I've had bad dreams about my teeth falling out before.
Oh my
I
God.
can't imagine intentionally doing that.
That
was it.
We never could check, so we didn't know.
Dana, have you had that dream?
No, you crazy? No, I'm
You
laughing.
ever had the dream where your teeth fall out?
No. What's wrong with you?
I
You wake up, you're like, where's all my teeth? No.
I wake up like 4 sizes smaller, and all my clothes in my closet are gonna fit me. And then I go, oh no, that happens a lot. Not my teeth.
I think we all want to wake up. Or you work out for like an hour, and you're like, I better wake up tomorrow and be 3 sizes smaller.
All that damn work I just did for an hour, I actually sweat. I better have lost weight.
Better be no ass tomorrow. All right, ladies. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the pain for all of us because I know it's been a very, very long day. But we'll be back as always next week. I have to check the schedule. I haven't yet. I think there's a town board meeting already next week.
I know. Where's the time go?
It really does. It's just, and the weather's been fabulous, so it's even slipping through our fingers quicker. So,
Yes.
oh, all right. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed tonight's Huntington View. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night,
Bye, guys.
everyone.
Bye-bye.